I'm standing here with my good friend Manny from Perfect Predators. We talked to you in Daytona. I bought a couple blood albino stuff from you, and it's doing great, eating very well, I might add, and people are very jealous.
Oh, good. That's good. It's always good to be talked about, good or bad, I think.
All the way up here from sunny Miami, and you got some stuff I was looking at, and I was really kind of oogling over some VPI T positive stuff. You want to show us?
Sure. Let's take a look at it.
Talk to us first about what the VPI T positive gene is.
VPI T positive is a line of caramel. It's also a type of albinism, and it was discovered and then it was proven to be genetic, and
it's a recessive trait.
It's a recessive trait, and it doesn't combine with other albinisms, so it was found to be its own thing. And at first, when I first saw it like 10, 12 years ago, I wasn't that impressed with it. Mm-hmm. I felt that if it wasn't white, it wasn't albino. It just looked like a washed out. But again, I was probably just not keen enough to recognize that there's a lot to be done with it, and it does really nice things with a lot of morphs and other colors.
How would you differentiate the T positive, VPI T positive morph with, like, say, just a hypomelanism morph? What's the difference in your mind?
That's a great question. The hypomelanism keeps a very similar ground color to the non-hypomelanist, but the VPI caramel it takes it a lot more to the white, even though it doesn't take it all the way. Mm-hmm. And it has its own saddles, and it has some peppering and speckling, which I find attractive. That when it's not VPI, it doesn't have.
Show us a basic one. You have a basic VPI?
A basic VPI, sure. And this is a perfect example about the saddle and peppering I was referring to. These saddles, which I find are pretty original to the VPI, have peaks, almost like a Suriname would. You see peak there, and it looks.
Do they call those widow peaks?
Widow's peaks, and to me, some of them, not this animal per se, but some animals, they look like a cowhide. If you've ever seen a cowhide cut out,
sure,
it looks like the shape of a cowhide. And that I find is very common, or usually the pattern on the saddles of VPI caramels. Why that is, I'm not sure. But if you notice this snake in that bin there has the same sort of peaks.
Right.
That one has anery, has a little bit more genetic.
Anuthristic means it's got a lack of red.
Lack of red.
So it's almost like a black and white type of snake.
Exactly.
So that takes it one step further. Now, where do you go from there? Because you have snakes that go even further. Yeah. These down here, I love these snakes. Tell me what these are.
These are VPI with hypo, and it has a jungle gene. The jungle gene does all the wacky stuff.
I have yet to get a definitive answer as to how to identify a jungle gene. What would be the distinguishing features you really look for?
There's some are subtle. Like on this animal, this is jungle, even though it doesn't really scream jungle.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you. It has these white circles in the pattern that jungles have. And then towards the tail, you'll notice it'll always have like a square or a rectangular saddle.
So that's classic jungle.
That's classic jungle. And then they're yellowish. When compared to a regular sunglow, such as this one, has no jungle whatsoever.
So this is a VPI jungle?
Yeah, and sunglow.
And so it's got the hypomelanism. So it's hypomelanistic, VPI T positive, and jungle.
Yes, and this one does not have the jungle, and it's hard to describe. I mean, if you see it, you see it. You just can't exactly say what it is.
I can't. To me, these look very similar.
Right.
This looks cleaner. This pattern.
It's cleaner. That's the jungle influence, and some of them will have a broken head stripe, but here this one doesn't have jungle and it has a broken head stripe.
So you can't really say that for sure.
Yeah, it's very.
Are you sure this one's not jungle? Maybe
it's not.
No.
Neither of the parents were jungle. That's a hypo gene that made it look a little.
And what's
funky.
this? This one's really funky looking.
Yeah, that one's just. I mean, you can make 5 litters and maybe not.
I always like the one that's the most expensive. I've noticed that. That's my.
Well, you got good taste. That's good. This animal.
What's in there?
This animal has jungle. It has VPI. It also has another genus called pink panther, which is a coralling that occurs, and you don't see it so much as a baby, but it'll develop as it grows.
Now, quarreling in an albino usually is like a pinkish on the sides.
And
What is
the same on the VPI, but on an albino it's called coral. On a VPI it's called pink panther.
Why pink panther? Who named it Pink Panther?
The actual VPI owners, VPI stands for, VPI stands for Vida Preciosa International, and the owners just named it Pink Panther, which is a funny name. You know, we got all these funny names in the hobby.
And you could definitely identify that Pink Panther trait.
Oh, yes. And the mom.
So that's a more valuable snake because of that.
Because of that. In normals, it's called pastel. And in VPIs, it's called Pink Panther. And in albinos, it's called coral.
So this is a valuable snake because it's got a lot of genes in it, and it can produce probably some pretty crazy offspring. What would you breed this with if you had if like you were like me and I was going to buy this snake? What would you pair this up with?
I would put this on, an Aztec that has also VPI, maybe heterozygously or visually, on a motley. Motley jungles or motley jungle VPIs are gorgeous. You can put hypo in here too, and maybe make it a little bit more freakish, because the hypo will make some more aberrancies occur.
What about a blood in there?
Oh my God! I mean, yeah.
I'm sure you probably got some of that cooking in one of your ovens somewhere.
No, I actually don't. I'm 41 years old now, Dave, and I think of that project, and I'm thinking 8 years ahead. And I'm thinking I'll be 50 years old when that happens.
You'll be a young man still.
Oh well, thank you, but. Sometimes I think of what can I do like that can happen within 48 months instead of 4 to 8
Nothing
years.
happens in 48 months anymore, unfortunately. Well, you know what? You're doing great stuff here, Manny. Perfect Predators. If you want to look him up on Facebook, on his website, perfectpredators.com. And if you're here in Tinley Park, stop by his booth.
Thank you.